The studio smelled of turpentine and dust. Light from the tall, arched window fell in fractured beams across canvases stacked against the walls. And at the center of it all, hunched over a half-finished painting, was Adrian. His fingers were stained with charcoal, his shirt spattered with paint. But his eyes never left the portrait. She was there. Always there. Her name had once been Clara. Years ago. She was his first love. The kind of love that storms through youth like fire through dry wood. She had hair like midnight silk and eyes that seemed to see beyond his words. For a time, she had been his muse, his soul, his world. And then, as suddenly as she had appeared, she was gone. Some said she left the city. Others whispered she died. Adrian never knew. What remained was silence and memory, and so, for years, he painted her. Not once, not twice, but endlessly. Clara's face emerged on every canvas, in oils, in charcoal, in watercolor. No matter what he tried to create, her likeness always returned. She haunted his brush, lived in his pigments. The portrait that now stood before him was his most lifelike yet. Her skin glowed pale against a dark background. Her lips faintly parted, her eyes brimming with unspeakable longing. So real, it was almost as though she might step forward from the canvas, reach out, and speak his name. Adrian leaned closer. The air felt heavier near the painting, as though the room itself bent toward her. He touched the dried paint with trembling fingers. "Why do you still own me?" He whispered, the silence answered. But then, the faintest rustle. Adrian turned. The studio door was closed, the windows latched. Still, he swore he heard something. The brushing of fabric. The sigh of someone exhaling just behind him. He told himself it was nothing. He was tired, obsessed, unraveling. He doused the lamps, leaving only the moonlight to guard the portrait, and went to bed. But sleep offered no escape. In dreams, Clara appeared not as she had been, but as she was now in the painting. She whispered to him in tones both tender and accusing. She asked why he abandoned her. She asked why he painted her 1,000 times yet never let her rest. She asked him to set her free. When Adrian woke, the canvas was waiting in the studio. And though he tried to convince himself it was illusion, truth unsettled him. The eyes in the portrait were not the same as yesterday. They were sharper, brighter, alive. The days blurred. Adrian stopped eating, stopped speaking to friends. He lived in the studio, staring at Clara's painted face, searching for answers in her gaze, and the portrait changed. Not suddenly, not so crudely as paint shifting before his eyes, but subtly. Each morning, he noticed something different. A soft curve in her smile that hadn't been there before. A lock of hair falling differently across her cheek. The barest shimmer of moisture in her eyes. One night, as rain lashed the windows and thunder shook the walls, Adrian stood before the portrait and whispered her name. Clara. The lips on the canvas parted. It was impossible. Yet he saw it. The faintest movement, as though breath stirred through painted lungs. Adrian stumbled back, heart pounding. No, no. But then came the voice. Soft, melodic, familiar. You still love me? Adrian froze. The sound had not come from his mind. It filled the studio, echoing from the canvas itself. He stepped forward, trembling. Clara. The figure in the painting blinked. Paint shimmered into skin. The woman leaned forward, breaking the barrier of oil and canvas, her hand reaching outward. When her fingers brushed his cheek, they were warm. Tears spilled from Adrian's eyes. How is this possible? You called me back, she whispered. Through every brushstroke, every sleepless night, every memory, you never let me go. And so, I returned. She stepped free from the painting, her body whole, her beauty unchanged. The studio filled with her scent, faint lavender, just as he remembered. Adrian fell to his knees, overcome with awe and terror. For days, Clara stayed with him. She moved like a ghost made flesh, drifting through the studio, watching him work. She spoke of love lost, of time stolen, and Adrian believed, against all reason, fate had given him another chance. But as the nights passed, shadows grew deeper beneath her eyes. Her laughter was tinged with hunger, and Adrian noticed something dreadful. The portrait, the canvas itself, was fading. Clara's image grew dim, the colors drained. One night, Adrian awoke to find Clara standing over him, her hand on his chest, her eyes burning with a hunger that was not love. "You gave me life," she whispered, "but life demands payment." Adrian's heart thundered. "What do you mean?" Her lips curved into a smile, tender, tragic, and cruel all at once. "Every shadow has its price, and you are mine?" The storm outside raged as Clara leaned closer, her form flickering between flesh and paint, between love and nightmare. Adrian realized too late he had not resurrected his first love. He had unleashed her shadow, and shadows do not let go.